just wanted to kind of call it out. This is going to be a recorded call, essentially just for our perspective. We want to have everything documented, and decisions that are made and information that is being shared is publicly also available for others to consume as well. So just wanted to do a quick roll call. We have representation from BPL. I see Arjun here, Neeraj here from BPL. We have representation from APCL. Lakinder is here. We have representation from Brabourne Cricket Club. Paresh is here. We don't see a representation from CASO or Panthers Academy. I was expecting Ron, Maddie, or Tariq Bhai to join. So hopefully we can, somebody, Vijay, if you can reach out on the site to see if they are planning to join or not. So we need to ensure this is an inclusive call. So we are trying to figure out if they can participate or not. If not, that's fine as well. But ideally, this call is to figure out who is going to be the playing member for 2024. And then we have representation from CYC as well. I see Heyman has just joined. And then we also have representation from CPCL Nishant as well. So thank you, everybody. Just to give you a quick update, we have on this call CPCL.
Nipun, there's Ranjit Singh.
Yes.
Ranjit Singh on the call. Can you?
Yes. Just let me go through. I'm coming to that. So we have representation from CPCL, CYCA, Brabourne, CMCE, BPL, CASO we are expecting. We also have representation from our USA Youth Coordinator Vijay, and then we also have representation from USA in form of Ranjit Singh. And why is he on this call? We'll go into detail at later stage, but I would like to have him introduce himself for a minute or so to everybody. Ranjit, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ranjit Singh. I'm in Junior Steering Committee. Jimmy and I have been working together. I think Jimmy has resigned, so he'll still be here for a couple of weeks, but I'm not sure if he'll be able to engage in the discussion. So I would like to help you out with any questions you have regarding the handbook, rules, junior pathway, how things should happen. I mean, basically the pathway is very simple. The process is defined. We follow the process. It becomes very, very easy. I think most of issues that are happening, I've heard from many folks in the hub, is the process related. So let me just turn the call and listen in and see if I can help out with anything.
Thank you, Ranjit. So we will stick to our agenda item that we have shared with you all, and I would definitely like to go through one by one before we open the floor for everybody in Q&A section. Right. So the primary first agenda that we need to kind of go through is how many academies are going to participate in 2024. And if there is an academy who has a team that they are planning to put in, we want to ensure they have a place to register themselves with Ice Cricket, and that's what I wanted to kind of review it. So our official, website is icecricket.org, as you can see it here, right? Home, academy, school registration, player registration, events, shop, donate, help, essentially. So what I want to do first is, please, academy owners or leads, make a note of this. Academies who played last year are already in the system. They don't have to re-register all over again. Those academy who are participating are putting a team in 2024 hub competition. Please make sure by tomorrow noon, your registration on this page has to be completed. Go ahead and complete this simple form and click send. You should be all good to go. Okay. So that's our first discussion on how to address our pending or new committees or new academies coming into this place who will be part of a major role into 2024 as well.
Now, Nipun, can you paste the link in the chat so that I can register?
Sure, absolutely. Let me quickly do that. Let's see if I can find where to put a chat link right there. Okay. Let me know if you guys are able to take it from there. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. I got it.
Not a problem. So here is where you will register your academy. Second, whether you have a 12-member playing team or not, if you are still an active registered or actively coaching with 2 or 3 kids, we still want those academies to register. So whether you are participating in 2024 or not, we want to make sure you have registered with Ice Cricket, right? Now for 2024, we also want to make sure that academy club members have minimum 12 registered player in a single age group for them to be eligible to be called as a hub club member, right? So if you have a team, please go ahead and register an academy, and then I'll come to the player registration part, right? Once that academy registration is completed, by noon tomorrow, we will open up the floor for player registration. Now, please keep in mind, players who played last year, who already has a data in Ice Cricket clubs, or the forms that they had filled last year, they are already in the system. Those players who did not represent any academy or has played not a single game last year will be required to register at Ice Cricket. And how can they do this? They can go to icecricket.org, click on player registration, go to the process right here where USA Cricket membership portal has some issues, so we can leave it out or just put 99999 and move forward. Cricket Club ID, try to work with your academy leads to get Cricket Club ID. Add your name, birth date, mobile number, street address, XYZ, country that you are in, the state that you are in. So for example, I just want to quickly demo it here. So if you are in Illinois, right, the academies who were already registered last year are already in the system. CMC, CYCA, BPL, IYCA, and if somebody does not see their academy, just put I'm not affiliated to any academy at the moment. But we need this completed. All the new players who are going to play in 2024 must complete their player registration by end of Thursday. Now that is a very strict guideline or tight line or date I'm giving you. Academy by noon tomorrow, player registration, all those new players who are going to be playing and did not play last year must complete their player application by end of Thursday night. Okay, and then just click on available sports and confirm. Right, so that's player registration. Sorry, somebody had a question?
Nipun, this is me, Nipun. This is Arjun. I think this is really good information that you're going over in terms of getting things going for the 2024 hub. And also appreciate Ranjit joining the call to sort of help us with the overall process and keep things getting better. The question that I want to ask is, while this is all good information, I feel like this is 2024 new business, and shouldn't the entire new board be first elected so that board can then take on this new business and move things forward? So I feel like we are missing a very crucial step and jumping into things a little bit, like the cart before the horse.
Let me address that, Nipun. So basically, the old executive committee has to register the new players and clubs, bring those new clubs on board, and then form the new team who will lead the 2024. So this is why the player sign-up process and the club onboarding process. This has to be handled by the old team. Once the new leadership has come in, right, then they can take over after that. But the first step has to be done by the old team. Right?
Thank you, Ranjit. Appreciate the clarification.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So Ranjit, thanks for the clarification. So this is Neeraj here, and how are we justifying about registration process? That are we using the same process what we have done, or we are going to introduce the new process here?
So there is
a new registration process.
Since you already have something in place, you can go ahead and use that. Or that's old team of people. I think you and Mehul and Nipun were 3 people were there in that slide. You have to decide the process. That's what you 3 have to do. How to bring the new clubs on board is something which you three have to decide. And then once the new club have been on board, then they will decide how to conduct the tournament, how to manage 2024 events. This first step is just to get the number of clubs and number of teams. They are not going to do anything else. They will know the decision made,
Okay. And what is the need of using the same entity, or we discussed that getting the new entity, or just establishing the home and away games, or that's what the format we were looking at it, right? So what is the need of using the same tainted entity, right?
So Neeraj,
when the hub was formed,
I would like
you
to
had ICE.
Yeah, I would like to defer this questions in question and answers. If you allow me to go through the agenda, it won't take more than 5-10 minutes to go through it, and then we can open the floor so that everybody can ask questions and share information.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to make sure we cover all the items before we start getting derailed here, and appreciate everybody's patience on that. Okay. So I just wanted to quickly go through this agenda item. Appreciate Arjun, Neeraj asking all those questions. We'll go through this very quick, and then we'll open the floor for everybody kind of to go through it. Okay. Once the club registration is completed, as I said, by tomorrow noon, we will wrap up the new player registration, and that is going to be a deadline of Thursday coming week. Which I'm going to post as, I'll share the meeting notes at later part of the day. So I'm looking at Thursday, new player registration must be completed. Okay. And then what we need is, we need to identify on this call who are going to be the point of contact for respective academies, right? So for example, BPL, CMCE, CYCA, Panthers, who is the other one? APCL, right? So I need point of contact for all these academies, so we can try to create a new Braeborn. Obviously that's Paresh only, so I don't need that. But yeah, point of contact for all this academy. So can I do a roll call on figuring out who would be the point of contact for BPL? Will that be Neeraj, you or Arjun or somebody else?
Arjun will be the point of contact.
Arjun.
Yeah, that'll be me.
Okay. CMC, for now it's going to be me. CYCA, Hemen, I think. Panthers, we don't have representation. So
Panthers, you can take Ron as the point of contact.
we need to get them on a call. This is where we need commitment. APCL.
Yeah, that would be me, Lakendra Sharma.
Okay. All right, so these are going to be the point of contact. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. And then we have a point to discuss as well in here, dues from 2023. And prior to that, I do really want to understand, while we are all on the same forum, that current path, we don't need introduction to BPL, we don't need introduction to CMC, CYCA. This is primarily for the new teams or new academies that's coming up. So I want to give them 2 minutes of time to kind of review and go through their program for everybody's understanding on where they stand and how are they planning for their 2024, if everybody's okay with that. If yes, can I please request APCL to go forward first and then provide some info into what's their current youth engagement, how many how many players you have, and what are the age group they are planning to put in a team. If they are not planning to put in a team, you can clearly say no. But if you say you have a team, and if you don't have a team, 1 month down the line, we still want a no answer. So do you really have a team, APCL? Lakinder, do you mind providing us some input into your current setup, and how are you planning for your 2024 in Hub?
Yes, definitely. Hello everyone. My name is Lakindra, and I'm based out in Schaumburg, Illinois. And our academy is APCL. It's called American Premier Cricket League Academy. Our intention of is to promote and develop cricket within Illinois and also in the Midwest. So what we are doing currently is working with different age groups, starting under 11, under 13, under 15, and under 17. For this year, we have around 50 students registered so far. We are starting our curriculum from April 7th, and we are expecting more. And also in parallel, we are working with schools and park districts as well, where we have more registration coming up. But as far as the team is concerned, I have not formed a team for this purpose specially, but definitely we can have a team going forward that I need to work with our management team, and we should be able to send a team for this purpose.
Excellent. Thank you. So is this current 50 players playing with leather ball, or are they under training with tennis ball?
No, it's all leather ball training.
Leather ball training. And do you anticipate you putting in a team in which age group? U11, U13, or U15?
I think we have all age groups, but I need to see which group we would put in. But I need some more details. Maybe, Nipun, I need some guidance from you how to set up those teams going forward.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you have there is no guidance needed in setting up a team. As long as you have 12 players available in respective age group, you have a team. So if you feel that, but I'm definitely happy to walk you through when it comes to upper and lower age limit, which I think Jamie has already shared the path. But offline, you can definitely connect with me. As long as you have 12 players in respective age group participating in Hub, you're good. So should I count that you have U11, U13, and U15?
Yeah, you can count on that, but we haven't, and I don't know about this format of this game. Do they have to play within Illinois or outside of Illinois? Because there is some.
Yeah, it's all Chicagoland.
Okay, I think that should not be a problem, but we haven't discussed this with our students, right? They know only about our what is called a school tournament that we are hosting, but definitely go ahead and note update it. But I will just confirm you. Maybe we have a week time, right, to confirm that.
By Thursday, the player registration must be completed.
And do we have a link for the player registration as well?
Yes. By Thursday, player registration must be completed, so we know who has the team.
Okay. So if we don't do it by Thursday, do we lose a spot for this year, or what would happen?
That can be discussed on one-on-one basis, but ideally we need to get this scheduling and everything out. So, and there are some other committee formation thing pending. We need to ensure, who is going to be part of the committee, right? As Jamie said yesterday, our last call, that essentially everybody on this call may not be part of the committee, right? So it entirely depends on who is going to put in a team. But if that's the case, we can connect offline.
Yes, today is Tuesday, and you're giving me a deadline till Thursday. It's very tight, right? So I may not be able to achieve that. So I think if there is any way to extend it, that would be great. But otherwise, I'll have to skip for this time.
Yeah, let's connect offline.
Yeah.
I'll help you as much as I can. As I said, we'll definitely help you. I would like Paresh to say a few words and also repeat the same info, whether he will have team into the hub or not, whether his academy has players registered or not. But let's get to know him a little more. Paresh, please.
Thanks, Nipun. This is Paresh Patel from Raybon. We are a club, not an academy. What we do is recruit players to play for our club, and we recently started recruiting youths. We are about 20 youth registered for our program across different age groups. So we don't know yet. We will have a team by Thursday. Quite a tight timeline in terms of our turnaround, especially just knowing a date today. But maybe instead of talking offline, you can for benefit of other new people that had just joined ICE this year, it would be important to be very transparent and talk in front of everyone. So if the same communication goes across any new people that are part of ICE, whether they are part of the committee voting member or not, that's a different story. But just for transparency and communication, let's not have different conversation offline with different people, but have a common conversation with this group.
No, the offline conversation is to help them, how the formation of the hub is. But if you have a team, yes or no, that will be a transparent communication, right?
So no, I think Paresh was referring to the one-on-one discussion he suggested about possibly getting more time to register the team. And just my 2 cents, listening this on the call, I think for the new academies especially, I think it's important we embrace a neighborly attitude and provide them with some realistic timeline as opposed to get it done in 48 hours. So I think need to be a little bit more empathetic with that.
Absolutely, Arjun. It's never about attitude. It's about helping. And if helping is an attitude, I think we need to rephrase this. But we will keep the communication open essentially for everybody. Whatever that is, Ranjit is on the call and will obviously pick his brain as well as part of our Q&A. With that, Ron, I think he's not available.
I just want to ask a question to Ranjit. Ranjit, is 2 hours a realistic expectation to register kids?
So this is not like Rosie. We just want to know what numbers we have roughly. Actually, we are way past due. As per the guidelines that we had sent to all the hubs by February, we should have all these numbers. Unfortunately, because of issues, things hasn't moved. We are in April, so I mean we cannot form the new team of leadership to run the hub until this is done. So basically, that's if you take 1 week or say 2 weeks, that step will be after that. So we're delaying everything. It's not like final. It's not like we're closing everything. We just roughly want to know how many clubs we have. So basically, the whole reason of asking you to sign up is that we want to know that your team is going to play in the hub as a team, so we can bring you as a stakeholder in the hub. That's why we are doing this. If 10 people sign up right now, 4 later, that's fine. It's not like we are going to lock anything in. This is just to get the number of stakeholders that we're going to have in the hub.
For voting purpose, right?
Yeah.
Correct. Whoever puts in a team.
Sooner the better. Yeah.
Thank you, Ranjit, for clarification. Do we have Paresh? Sorry to interrupt, but is there anything else that you need to add?
No, that's it. We don't know if we will have a team, but we have 20 kids who are interested, but we are working on it.
Perfect. Thank you. Panthers is not here, so I'll move on to our next agenda item. Essentially, dues from 2023. That was one topic that we had to kind of hash out and clean it up. So while everybody's on the call, I just wanted to kind of go through and review some of the financial matters before we open this forum up pretty quick. So last year we had 188 essentially unique kids registered and played with ICE Cricket, and some of them played multiple age groups, which means a single kid ended up playing in U13, U11 as well. I mean U11 played in U13 as well, and vice versa for 15 and 17. Some U13 played 15 as well. So there were multiple age group a single player ended up playing with. So essentially we had 3 academies. BNB Associate is nothing but CYCA. Their invoice amount was $13,800. Then Chicago Cricket Club Academy, BPL Youth Academy, their invoice was $15,000. Cricket Merchant CMC, their invoice was $8,500. These are tied to those respective players who played 2023 hub. Each player for each age group was supposed to pay $150 to ICE. So if a single player who played U11 and U13 should have paid $300 to ICE. And as per the last year's stakeholders, committee members, or leadership group decided that the money would be collected by academies and then paid to ICE Cricket. Right? So these are the invoices raised from ICE to respective academies. Total 37,650. Out of which there were plenty of bills that were generated, including umpiring fees and equipments or forming of the hub expenses tied to those hubs and things like that. As you can see, some umpiring fees. So essentially, all those were tied to it. And as of today, if we look, we have had received payment from 2 academies, essentially from all academies, but in partial payment. So if we look at customer invoices, for example, right, we have 2,000 payment from respective academies on so-and-so date. Then we have September, this much was paid. This is how much is left, right? So there are plenty of other things that has not been reconciled because, we haven't done accounting for this year at all. Then we have, for example, Chicago BPL, they paid $2,000 on 8/16, 13,000 pending, right? Then we have CYCA, up until March, accounting has been done. So you have 3,000. Then the last call that we had, we received 2 payments of $3,500 and $4,500, or rather $4,450. So this is how much still is pending. So essentially, if we look at current, current accounting dashboard, and if we look in this place, right, the last payment that was received from BBA is end up showing here. Cricket Merchant has paid, and then we can go onto the bank account if we need to go to, but it has not been pulled into here yet. Let me see if I can fetch the transactions, if it allows me to. So essentially, there are quite a few academies who have not paid, and we want to ensure this pending balances are addressed. If we look at this, we need to ensure this has been cleared up before we start our 2024. 2024 will be collecting money directly from parents because we had a lot of challenging collecting payments from academies. And I wanted to call it out loud that right now CMC has yet to pay 2,850. BPL has 13,000 of pending payment plus $1,000 that was donated. So I can say that they essentially paid about $3,000, out of which $250 is going to a player, which we haven't paid yet. BPL invoices, ground invoices are yet to be paid. CYCA ground invoices are paid. CMC ground invoices are paid. All the other expenses, the only pending payments right now are BPL ground payments and entire hub umpiring fees, because we are yet to receive some payments from all these academies. 13,000 payment pending. If we consider $1,000 and $250 payable, 12,750 from BPL. CYC and CMC has $2,850 pending to be paid. Yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt. If you are sharing the screen, we are not able to see the screen.
Oh, I'm not sharing the screen. Let me quickly share. My bad. Good call, here. Let me know if you guys are able to see it now. Let me just go through those all over again. So if you're able to see the screen now, here is what it is. BMBS, which is
so Nipun, just one more thing, since the call is being recorded for the record. You mentioned something about player registration fees will be collected for the next year directly by ICE. I think that's new business, right? So I don't think that decision should be made now on this call. So I think, I just wanted to clarify that for the group. That's not a decision that can be made right now.
What do you mean
Yes.
by business? I'm sorry, but I didn't.
You said player registration fees will be collected by ICE directly from parents for the next year.
Correct.
And just want to clarify for the group that this group here cannot make that call, correct? We need to form the new group once you collect all the information from the academies. That's a decision that needs to be made outside of this call, not in this call.
I completely agree with you.
Yeah.
It could be the new committee who will make a decision. What we are trying to do here is we are laying out path, sharing the history, and help make them informative decision on what they want to do. Do they want to really
Sure. No, I understand that. I understand. I just wanted to clarify your statement because you made a decisive statement. I just wanted to clarify that for the group.
Correct. It's a very decisive statement because we burned our feet and we are yet fighting to collect the funds. So
yeah, but that's not your decision to make today, is what I was clarifying respectfully.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be the new. It is going to be the new committee, and the same new committee is going to be the same stakeholders, whoever is going to be participating in the hub. So I don't think so that new committee will be new faces, right? So essentially,
it doesn't matter. For the record, you can suggest you're making a recommendation as opposed to a decision.
I think Nipun, let's move on. I think all the people understand both of you what you're talking. I think we should move on to the topic.
Thanks.
Correct. Thanks, Nishant.
Okay.
One second.
So that said, I also wanted to kind of go through this screen share all over again. So as we said, you kind of went through. I wanted to kind of also look into this invoices, vendor payments that are pending. As we said, all this umpiring fees has not yet been paid right there. So these are all BPL umpires whose fees have not been paid, right? So this is one payment that's, pending from ICE. As you can see, CMC umpire fees has not been paid. So essentially, anything here that you see is paid, it's paid. Anything in here that you see not paid is not paid. The only difference in this case is some of the item, the data has not been fetched, but I want to kind of share with you all. Umpiring fees, BPL ground fees, that has not been paid yet. We have received a revised invoice from BPL, and as a current year or 2023 leadership group decided that if the academies will not, and this was prior to our first call, which happened on March the 2nd, that if the academies do not pay, irrespective of which that academy is, the leadership group essentially decided. At that point, there were only two members in leadership group, CYCA's representative Hammond and myself from CMC. We decided whether it's CYCA, BPL or CMC will forward collection effort for a larger share group if not paid by so and so date. So CYCA ended up paying on the same date before the call, which happened on March the 2nd. We are yet to receive any payment from BPL, still pending $12,750. And we have basically engaged collection agencies as well, the legal group. However, I don't see there is any, I would say, update on that as such. BPL has not yet paid. With that said, we still need to clear the last years and help the new committee decide whether they want to go through the same process of academies not paying and not helping the hub itself to run it smoother, not bring challenges and things like that. But again, overall, it's not going to be that if somebody has paid or not paid, we will not include them. They are basically included. Youth is our priority, but on the sideline, we'll continue our efforts to collect the funds.
Yeah, I think, I need to jump in and clarify one thing. Again, Nipun, appreciate you sharing all of this. You said that while these payments are outstanding from BPL, nothing has happened. I think we need to restate that. There's obviously been conversations, there's been meetings, there's been discussions, and there's been a proposal that was sent from our side, which pretty much aligned with, sort of in terms of numbers, the expectations. I think there was only a discussion that obviously was placed on your side that wasn't closed out afterwards, that there was this the $13,000 number or the $12,000 number that you mentioned, less the umpire fees, which BPL said we will take care of, our umpires will pay it, less the player donation, which ideally should have been given to the players as soon as it was given last year. It was kids' money, which was not done. I think that we will take care of as well. So we were willing to, we also updated the grounds invoices to match what was requested, and we were willing to provide the rest of the balance, but that was not, accepted. So I think we need to clarify that there have been conversations. It's not that it's been ignored.
Yeah, so conversations are happening, and we had an ultimatum of in email documented that we will not be discussing about this, and as rest assured, I have provided a very clear instruction. Now what we have, we can take this offline as well, as we met last time, but our ask is very simple and straightforward. BPL is an independent company with its own EIN number. The payment of $2,000 has come from CCCA, which is Chicago Cricket Club and Academy, registered under Neeraj Patel. It also has its own EIN number. Being a non-profit organization, we want everything to be documented and clear, which means if there is a pending payment from CCCA, who is basically Neeraj's Academy, we cannot compensate or credit that from BPL's invoice. You pay $12,750 and ICE will generate a check to BPL for their ground fees. Umpiring fees, as communicated to everybody during and prior to the tournament, will be paid by ICE Cricket. So umpiring fees cannot be paid by BPL to their umpires. It will be ICE Cricket's responsibility, right? So this is something that we have clearly identified and shared with everybody.
I just need to clarify a couple of points here before you move forward. Okay. So number one thing is CCCA has paid on behalf of BPL because BPL at that time, the contact main person was not in the town, and at that time we decided that CCCA will pay on behalf of BPL. So you need to take out the CCCA in this matter completely, right? Number one thing. Second thing is BPL has provided all the umpires, and you have mentioned multiple times that ICE responsibility to pay the umpire's fees. So since when you had $9,000 last year in 2023, which is $3,000 from each academy, that's what you mentioned. So we were expecting that ICE should have taken care about the umpire's fees because umpire has stood out there on our request, on BPL's request, right? And ICE has not paid that. So ICE should not have waited for the payment to receive since they already have the payment in the bank, right? That's the second point. Third point, can you please clarify when CYCA has deposited entire amount? You said March 2024, and CMC is yet to deposit the amount, correct?
They have already deposited.
Is that right?
That deposit amount is already
CMC has deposited $8,000. That total $8,000.
Yes, not 8,000. 2,850 is left from CYCA and CYCA. If you heard me correct.
You mentioned that CYCA has deposited in March and CMC is yet to deposit. That's what you said loud and clear. That's what you mentioned, that you said the loud and clear CMC yet to deposit the amount, correct?
Yeah, let me pause the screen share and let me log into the bank account and I can show you where we stand today. Right? While we continue our conversation, please keep going. Yeah.
Also let us know and what date the academies has deposited the amount.
Yeah, I'll go through while let me see, share, pause screen sharing. Okay, there we go. All right, so I'm going to log into the bank account while we continue our discussion. So everybody has a clean view of what's happening at the moment, because this is very vital for our next year's, whoever is going to be leading the committee here. Very vital information. because this financial things, no matter what it is supposed to be very clean and crispy and clear, right? All right, let me see if I can go back to and resume sharing. Okay, so let me know once you guys see this. Are you guys able to see the screen? दरवाजा बंद कर दो. Thank you. Are you guys able to see the screen?
Yeah, I can see that.
Okay, excellent. So if you can see on 4th, we have payment, which I believe was on the date, it was a weekend, so it did not reflect into the bank account until the following working day. We received 3 payments or 2 payments from BNB Associate, which is CYCA. And I was very upfront, tight and clear with them that I'm not going to pay for your ground fees as a leader until the payments are done. They paid on that day before I said that today is the last day before we send collections or collection companies after you. We received these payments from them. And then we paid the ground fee.
Yeah, so you received the payment of $8,000 from CYCA on March 4th, correct?
Correct.
Right. So what was the point of sending legal notices to one academy from last couple of months when you didn't have received payment from other 2 academies?
So other 2 academies had first of all, BPL had quit last year. They were not part of discussions as a member at all. There are only 2 board members.
We did not quit. We were out of the WhatsApp group. That doesn't mean that we were out of the. We were completely. Hold on, let me finish here. So we were out of the WhatsApp group. That doesn't mean that we quit. And I personally said multiple times that Arjun can be the point of contact. You can contact the Arjun, right? And many times people have contacted Arjun for the games and for other matters. So I don't think that's correct statement that we have quit.
Your WhatsApp, I don't want to dive into it, but if the larger audience wants, we have screenshots of everything wherein Neeraj Patel, who is the lead of BPL at that point, decided that we don't want to be part of this organization and had removed other members except the parents group, right? So we don't want to dive into it, Neeraj, right now. We are on a we are on a call where we need to collectively work towards 2024. We are just trying to pull out some pain points.
You don't want to move to 2024, right? You want to just stick to 2023. That's what it looks like. It's been 1 hour and you are just
trying to 2023. What I'm trying to, I will disagree with you. What I'm trying to tell right now to the entire folks is this is 2023 and next is 2024. Whether it is going to be the same committee or new committee members, doesn't matter. We need to know the background before they take over and what are they going to do, right? So irrespective of what it is, I have the bank statement open. So on March 25th, there was $3,000 paid from Cricket Merchant and 3,424 or 2322 was taken back payable to Cricket Merchant for all the invoices, expenses that Cricket Merchant had done for ICE, which includes the software, which includes the ball, which includes website registration, which includes the annual filing report, $11, which includes some of the right there GoDaddy expense. So that has been taken care of. Now, if you look at receivables, right, age receivables, these are our current age receivables. Now, as I said, Cricket Merchant 5,850 shows as more because our current bank has not fetched transactions post 3/3. Once I fetch the transaction post March 3rd, all this transactions are going to pop up into the system, which is paid and payable, right? So overall, what I'm trying to convey here is our current, where did I go? Reporting receivables. These are our current receivables. CYCA is still pending 2,850. CMC is still pending 2,850. The largest portion is from BPL, if you call it as BPL, if there is no role of CCCA. Right? Now, if there is no role of
CCCA,
let me
quick question, Nipun.
Yeah, Paresh.
Nipun, this is Paresh.
Yeah, 1 second, Paresh. If there is no role of CCCA, I have n number of time requested that contact person to provide invoices in letterhead of that respective organization, right? Because it makes it so easy for us to kind of look into and address, because all these academies have shared their invoices and their letterheads with their everything detailing. Paresh, sorry, go ahead.
So quick question. Again, we don't know any of the 2020 information, what happened behind the scenes. You're getting into the weeds of things. That's fine. My question is very simple. Was when the notices were, or legal notices and collection notices were sent, was it sent to all outstanding vendors?
Not at all. And I will concur it very clearly. Because outstanding vendors, we only had 2,800 from CYCA, 28 from CMCE, and larger portion. So not everybody was sent for collection. The others are still work in progress. We had a lot of challenges, and I have the emails open. If I need to forward those emails out to everybody, I can do that. We had a clear indication that if you talk about invoices, we are not going to reply to you. And that's when we as a leadership group sat on to figure out what are we going to do. And our leadership group for last year has been Nipun and Heyman from CYCA. That's it.
So was there a decision made that anything about $2,000 should be sent to collection?
So that's where we are looking at, because we are not in a position to say we are not going to pay. We are going to pay. We have left it as is, just in case BPL comes on table for negotiation, because it is not fair for BPL not to pay full amount and other academies
which BPL certainly did. They came to the table, they had conversations, never said that they will not pay. It was all the negotiations and the discussions were actually on the actual amounts and the charges. It was it's also, ICE did not have a working and approved budget. For a lot of these things, there's no agreements. So it's all, based on previous conversations, and you have to go backward and align on these things. So yes, questions were being asked, and there was no information clearly provided on what has happened with the other academies and where those payments were. So yeah, I think Paresh Bhai certainly asked a good question. Appreciate it.
I don't know what was that.
Guys, can I add something here? I've been listening to this for quite some time.
Sure.
So first thing is there's too much of money being discussed here. A lot of funds are being discussed here. So I heard some point that BPL can pay like person B whom ICE owes money. Why can't they just pay them and you offset the money? Bring the numbers down. Numbers are looking too big right now. So instead of them paying to ICE and ICE paying somebody else, why can't they just settle with the other person and just make that amount zero? And that's one thing, because the numbers are looking really big right now. And second thing is that we can have a separate, I think you should work with each one of them. I think you have to resolve this issue, because this money can actually burn bridges down fast. Right. And whoever is going to be leading this hub next year, my request is that keep money as low as you can. Keep the money changing hand as low as you can. Less the money involved, the better off you are, because these are big amounts. $30,000 is a big amount.
Right. So now, Ranjit, to give you a sense of, why it was a mutually agreed, amount that we said we'll be collecting $150 per age group per player. We wanted to ensure we are not falling short, because we didn't had a chance to go for sponsorship or any as such. And I doubt that we will find a leader in this organization or if we are able to, I'll be more than happy to find some sponsorship money for this organization rather than the academies itself. Right? It's going to take time for it's going to take time for individuals to step beyond their current academy and think about just if they are part of an organization, it is an organization work, right? So that's why we said, okay, let's do that. We will collect this much, whatever it is, based on what we are set as for 2024, we'll decide what to do.
Yeah. I just hope that you guys resolve this fast, because I know this can take a very bad turn. For 2024, whatever the hub decides, make sure the money is collected upfront. You don't keep that for the end. It's impossible to get money from people once the events are done. So anyway, I think that's something which Nipun, you and BPL and other people have to just sort it out.
So I have one question, Nipun, right? Sorry to interrupt here. So what is the impact for 2024? If this money is not recovered, will there be an impact in 2024, or 2024 would continue as planned?
No, it will be continue as planned. As I said earlier, no kid is going to be left behind.
Okay.
So I think I would personally think if the hub has explained you that you owe money and you owe money, I would just pay and be done with it, even right or wrong. And to me, the hub did tell the players that they owe $150 every player. To me, if I'm a parent, I'll just pay it off and be done with it. If some parent isn't able to pay because of some reason, the hub can decide to offset their dues because their financial crisis, whatever it is. But I would want to close this matter as soon as you can, just to bring more kind of peace and happiness in the hub.
Trust. Exactly. That's what we are after, Ranjit. So ideally, what we are kind of, BPL has their own points. We have our own points. As a leadership group, we had already communicated that ICE will be paying for umpiring fees. BPL is saying we will pay the umpiring fees. We are saying no, that's not the way to do it. You pay your share, we pay for your ground fees, and we pay the umpires. That's a statement as simple as that, English, right? So that's what we are after right now, and they have everything that they need. We met once after the lawyers reached out, but again, not to get this into too muddy situation. Somebody needs to address, and it has to be BPL and collectively from all three academies as well, right? We need more concrete steps for 2024. We need to get some of those things out so we can start working on what is real on the ground for 2024.
My suggestion, Nipun, I think we all should work it out, in a smoother way, get things going. We are all, at the end of the day, we are here to promote the sport, right? Let's figure this out. Let's fix this. Let's move on to 2024, because we don't want the kids to suffer because of the accounting issues and all the operational issues, right?
Let's figure this out anyway. And that's the reason I gave a very strong, decisive statement that ICE will collect direct.
And I think going back to what Ranjit suggested, I think if you keep the funds to the minimal, and I think things like home and away games where the academies can handle all of it, and keep common decisions and common funds to as little as possible is the best way forward. I think a centralized operation that's handling so much funds back and forth is a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. So Arjun, home and away, I've been confused since the day somebody has brought that up. All the games are going to be in Chicagoland. So are you saying BPL home ground would be?
No.
Yeah. So it's very simple. Like what happened? Sorry, go ahead, Ranjit.
So you split the games between all the teams. So they all have same number of home, same number of away. When you are home, you take care of ground cost, umpire cost, ball cost, all the costs. So they all have same responsibilities. That's it. Now there's no money involved, right? And now if a club doesn't have a home ground, then they have to pay when they travel, because they are always traveling. But you can set the game up in such a fashion that if an organization has grounds and able to play home and away game, there's no money involved at all, except like for profit knowledge you can share.
Precisely. Well said, Ranjit bhai.
Yeah, so precisely here, to be very fair, we don't have a home ground for CMC.
I mean, when I say home, I mean
we rented from Park District. Same thing is with everyone.
Yeah, so when I say home means
but we take care of hosting. Correct.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, home means you're host. You rent it, you buy it, you whatever you do, you get free or you pay $1,000. It's your home. You take care of it. That's what home means.
I think that
You are
simplifies a
accountable
lot
for
of things.
arranging it.
Yeah, so that also introduces a lot of, we decided, I don't know where, if somebody helped recollect from last year's leadership, where we decided that we'll be doing, managing the league and how we went about. I think it was all tied to, availability of ground, ensuring umpires are neutral, and something around that. I'm not pretty sure.
And if you actually look at what happened in 2023, that's kind of what happened. So essentially, we could have done this last year. So BPL hosted like almost 35 games. I think CYCA hosted like 21 games. I think CMCA arranged like 3 or 4 games. If all of that was just done by those respective academies, we wouldn't be having many of these conversations. So that essentially is what Ranjit is also suggesting right now. So we don't need to look too much back. Just last year, you have precedent.
I mean, that's something definitely doable. But again, it's a collective thought and decisions that we need to put together, right? So that's a very hello.
This is the right platform. This is the right platform to take the call right now for 2024. And I think Ranjit has, suggested the best option here, and that is good for all of us, right? Rather than going into back and forth, and we won't have this kind of issues what we had in 2023 by going home and away format. That will be the best option we have for 2024.
Yeah, so I think we can set a path for the new committee, whoever is going to be, and collectively make
this can be a recommendation. Yeah, this can be a recommendation for
the
new committee.
I think the core statement that Ranjit said makes the most sense. Limit the common funds and common decisions as much as possible. Unless it's absolutely essential, decentralize it.
Yep. So, guys, next what has to happen is that we have to form a 5-member committee. The committee can only be formed. So what Nipun told me, I talked with him like a few days back. He mentioned that his old constitution, what he has wrote for ICE. Now let's go back to ICE. So ICE is a non-profit organization that is formed to manage this hub. Exclusively formed to
before we move forward, so Nipun, Ron is on the call. Just wanted to let you know.
Excellent. Welcome, Ron.
Hey, Nipun.
Okay.
Sure, Ranjit, go ahead.
So I just want to, like some people are saying, like why ICE? So USA Cricket wanted every hub to have a non-profit organization of their own. Some hubs have it, some don't. Your hub has ICE as a non-profit organization. But Nipun does not own ICE. ICE represents the hub. He is chair for the hub ICE now, but I'm sure that in the new committee is formed, there's a new chair, that person will be responsible for ICE. Right, Nipun? This is going to keep changing every year. So ICE is not like Nipun. I know that's what I've been hearing from a lot of people. I want to clarify that's not the case. Now, new hub can form something new. Instead of ICE, they can make it like base or something rice, But doesn't matter. Whatever new you form, some problems will come, So ICE is already registered as a non-profit and everything. Whoever comes new can just take it and run. Nipun doesn't have to be part of it every year. He just started it. He just formed it. He has built a base. And to me, it's a good one because forming non-profit is not an easy thing. So don't look at ICE as Nipun. Look at ICE as your hub. You're somebody who is managing your hub, especially the funds and everything else.
It comes to me.
Nipun, can you clarify the board? This one, the ICE board per whatever bylaws are there, so that everybody understands that clearly, please.
Right. So I pulled up the bylaws. Now only 2 members have signed. Two board committee member. CYC and CMC. We did not get a signature from BPL because by that time it was already they had voluntarily stepped away. I don't want to rephrase this all over again, but they are still part of it, which is a very good thing. Number of qualification, I just wanted to kind of let me maximize this so everybody can read. The board shall, now last year we had 3 academies participating in Hub, and with help of Jamie Lloyd and aligning with last year's Junior Path handbook, we ended up having some clause in our bylaws. Board members shall have up to 3 members, but no fewer than 3 board members. The number of board members may be increased beyond 3 members by the affirmative vote of unanimous vote of the then serving board of directors. A board member need not be a resident of state of Illinois. In addition to the regular membership of board, representatives of such other organization or individuals board may deemed available to elect shall be ex officio board members XYZ, right? Now I can share this at request. I'm very happy to do so. Board compensation. Now the board shall receive no compensation.
I just want to interject. Right, there are 2 issues that I see. One, the current sitting board will decide whether you can expand the board. That's wrong. It should be based off of minimum of 1 club, which is a 12 registered club, would be able.
Paresh, let me interrupt you. You are thinking way ahead. The US, Ranjit also clarified that the current sitting board will be helping the new members, and then they will be able to amend the bylaws to align with US Cricket and add more board members as well.
So let me also quickly explain. Board member and executive committee are 2 different things. So as non-profit organization ICE will have a board member which can be like one from CMC, one from MACE, one from BPL, one from the new clubs. Like that's a board member. They're not executive committee. Executive committee is what will be forming. The board member can stay for a longer time because they are the stakeholders. They don't have to change, and they're not going to make decision anything. They are simply basically sitting on top, making sure that ICE is functioning the way it should. Now, the functioning of a hub is totally different role. That is what will keep changing. The board doesn't have to change every year. What we are asking, what executive is asking is to change is the executive committee that runs the hub.
Right. So apart from that, Ranjit, I still also want to help give some clarification in here. Board election is basically what we had initially decided was that all appointments to the board shall be for a term of 1 year. No person shall serve more than 2 consecutive terms unless a majority of the board during the course of board meeting at which a quorum is present votes to appoint a board member to 2nd additional year. No person shall serve more than 2 consecutive. We have clause in the board member as well for leading committee and XYZ.
Right.
Right?
So somebody has to manage all of that.
We didn't want it to be biased. We wanted to be inclusive to every academy, every youth in Illinois. So we also made sure these are very clear so that Nipun Joshi does not take advantage of his academy and his kid going up and playing higher up, which has been happening for last 15 years, right? Many different locations, not just here. I'm not talking about Chicago or Illinois or Midwest. We have heard from many different locations that some people are just taking advantage because they have been doing this for such a long time, their kids are playing and going higher up. Right? So we made sure the current sitting board members decided this is not going to be siding any academies, even including the board members or committee. We want to be very clear upfront to everyone right here as well, right? That this is going to be inclusive.
Sorry to interrupt you. Can you provide the example of that about last year? What you are mentioning right now, that what has happened in the zonal committee or during U15 selection, or can you just provide that example?
No, that example. Hang on. So that example is actually out of our hand. That once everything goes to zone, it's a zonal committee that manages it. Hub has nothing to do with it. And Ranjit, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
It was a matter. I think the pathway was clearly mentioned that nomination will be from the hub, right? Not from the zonal committee. Nomination needs to go from the hub. So what Nipun is mentioning here about bylaws and all this stuff, right? So did we follow these bylaws in 2023?
The selection is not part of the bylaws. Selection is
Correct.
part of US cricket. If you don't really...
Yeah, let me quickly add, Neeraj, on that. So selection panel is the most important thing that hub has to do, is form a panel of 3 people in the hub will be the selection panel. It's highly recommended by USA Cricket and documented that these people cannot be the coaches, cannot be the parents, cannot be like conflict of interest. So as a hub group, it's your responsibility to look into your city, look into your zone, look in your area, find 3 people who everybody trusts that they're not going to be biased. Bring them on board to select the people for the hub. Now, for zonal level, same thing. What should happen is that you have to send a representative who represents all the clubs. If the person represents one club, he's going to go with his kids. It's natural because he knows his kids only. So this is why, as a hub, it's very important that you foster that culture, that the 3 people, the 3-person legislation committee which you're going to appoint is going to be neutral and is going to represent everybody in the hub.
Right.
That is,
you,
if that decision
Correct.
goes wrong,
Yeah,
I'm
correct.
telling you, everything's going to go
So,
wrong.
yeah, so it has gone wrong, Ranjit, because it was
Yes, I agree.
every time the outvoted for 2-1, and and what you mentioned, Ranjit, and thanks for bringing that up here. So we saw that some of the people has gone there, and whether they really deserve to be there or not. I think that hub has decided that to send those people, and we all of us know what has done and what has been doing on that side, right? So we need to understand one very important point here is, since Nipun is mentioning all this bylaws and everything, in a cricket-oriented environment, I don't think it was followed thoroughly last year, and we paid a price for that, and we have seen that a lot of things has gone in a bad way, in a wrong way, and that's what we need to make sure that this should not happen in 2024, and that's why there is no need for the entity. You need not profit for sure, as per the rules, right? And I still remember Venu from the last year, he mentioned very clearly, since there was no agreement last year between the academies, he mentioned that let's start one separate entity for 1 year, first year, and then we can think about whether to go with the same entity for 2024 and on, right? So currently, since we are going with the home and away, I believe every academy has a non-for-profit organization, okay, and they can definitely run the hub, and with obviously with the maintaining the executive committee. The committee will manage everything, but there is no need for the separate entity to go with the 2024. So that's what my intent, and that's what my 2 cents here.
So you need entity for one reason: sponsorships and accounting, because at some point funds will be involved. You host tournament, you're doing something in your hub, you have coaching camp for the this hub is going to grow, more teams are going to come, right? So at some point you will have to be known under something, right? Not everybody can be everything. So this entity, and I say you can change ICE to something else, whatever name you guys like, but having an entity and everybody sitting under that gives you a sense of being under one umbrella, and
it's like there is no existence of Gujarat Cricket Board, and all the district levels are hosting their own tournament. That's what you're recommending here,
right? So correct. So what we should do is that the whatever involvement ICE had last time, right? Too much of we can limit that, right? But I think that entity being there is going to help everybody overall, and as I said, everybody is going to be a stakeholder in this.
Correct.
So let's have a fresh entity. Ranjit, if you are proposing that, if you are suggesting that, let's have a separate brand new entity if you want to go with the new entity, then,
so
right?
We can do that.
As far as I believe, as far as I know, Ranjit, out of 18 hubs, not even 50% hub has a separate this kind of entity.
Correct,
Right.
exactly. So you are lucky. You're lucky to be ahead of everybody else, because everybody's supposed to have that. They haven't done it.
Ranjit, can I say?
So So yeah, Ranjit, I think that would be a better idea to have the better performance, better result, and transparent and merit-oriented, cricket-oriented result. I think that would be a better idea to have a separate new entity, or just to go with the home and away format and let the home team manage everything, and that will be a minimal use of funds and everything.
So separate
there will
entities
be some
same number of members.
This covers the most expenses, this home away, most expenses. But there still be 10-20% expense like bringing a coach, bringing a guest, trophies, special things. So there will be some other small expenses which you need, entity to be under. And let's say funds. At some point, USA Cricket will give you. At some point, USA Cricket will give funds to each hub. I'm sure about that. At some point, there are money.
Right. So we can for that expenses, Ranjit, we can collaborate. Each academies can collaborate and just provide 5,000, 2,000, whatever amount needed. We can provide that in that collection, right? So that way we can move forward from there. I don't think so. We need to have for separate entity for that, for trophies or umpiring payment. Umpiring payment will be taken care by the home teams, right? For trophies, obviously, we can share the cost. 3, 4, 5 academies can share the cost of $1,000, $2,000. That's not a big problem.
Your hub has to have something that is hub. Right now, what you're saying is that let's defragment and act like as a different groups and just work together. Why can't you find one umbrella where all of you can just stand under it as one? Now, if ICE name is a problem for you, change the name. If you start another organization, it's going to cost you. There's a lot of money to apply for non-profit, and the process is a lot of work. I mean, Nipun tells that it's not an easy process to get non-profit.
See, Ranjit, my clear answer.
We don't have the problem with ICE for sure. We don't have the problem. The problem is they have sent the collection notice. They have involved the lawyer. That's why that entity become a tainted entity. Right? That's the problem.
Hang on a minute. Hang on, guys. Hang on. Don't mix operations versus financial obligations, please. We have moved out of this. I've heard everybody very patiently, right? So I've earned a couple of minutes here. Neeraj, this was your idea initially from last year to have a separate entity. We had proposed. We selected
that's
the hub.
Not correct.
Are you going to?
I mean, that's not correct. That's a Venu's idea. That was not my idea.
It was not Venu's idea. It was your idea.
USA Cricket.
It was very clearly. It was Venu's idea. It was Venu's idea for 1 year, and I still remember that.
Guys, let me clarify. This direction from USA Cricket that if you want to be long-term existing organization, you have to have a non-profit status. That was our recommendation to all the hubs. Some hubs, if you don't do it now, in 3 years you'll have to do it. You'll be forced to do it.
Sorry to interrupt here. Sorry to interrupt. This is Lakshindra. So I've been hearing all the conversation. I think the recommendation is have to a non-profit, right, which you already have it. So what is the issue here? Is it just because of the collection agency is the problem, or is there anything else? Because at the end, you need to have one to run this hub, right? So if there is already one established, let's fix it and move ahead.
I mean, from my perspective, it's pretty simple from a leadership group. If you're not going to be financially responsible, then what other forms of retribution you have left? Then take a legal course. If you have collected the money from the parents,
that's what they did.
Then it should be forwarded over.
That's the wrong way. That's the wrong way to do it, right? That's the wrong way to do it. The legal course, because
how is it wrong?
That is not the ICE money. That is Hemant. That is not the ICE money, right? That is academy who have provided all the details, and we have supported everything, right? We have supported everything, and why it was sent to only one entity, one organization, right?
The other entities came, promised, and they delivered.
I'm just trying to
understand. Yeah, we also delivered. There was a lot of discussion happened. There was a lot of meetings has been happened, and you were also involved in that, Hemant. You were there in the meeting when representative from our side has gone and met you, right?
Guys,
I think we are digressing here.
I don't think we are going to resolve this here. Okay, so I would request let's focus two ways, right? One is to resolve the previous issue. I think some of us are not involved, and we don't want to get into those weeds at this point. We want to see what is there next for us for 2024, and how we can get involved and keep this moving. Okay.
No, absolutely. So again, what we have is the bylaws here. Again, we can send those out, as Nipun said, for everybody's review.
Right.
If there are better ideas that we can, we are all open to discussing those. Let's have that formation, right? And then come to the table. Let's see, how many teams we have. What is the participation coming in 2024? Once that is decided, again, the board members can decide, and then we have to, come up with the executive committees and hold the tournament.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. So as Ranjit mentioned, that we need to have a first 5 members executive committee, new members. That's what Ranjit mentioned, that right, and that's what we need to do that first now.
So that's the guideline for this year. 3 is a very small number. It can, so 5 is what we are recommending everybody to have. That 5-member committee will appoint their own chair. So all of the stakeholders in Illinois hub, Chicago hub, are gonna vote for 5-member committee. Once 5-member committee is formed, everybody will step back. The 5-member committee will vote among themselves and pick their chair. For 2024, that would be the structure. And that committee will then pick selectors, set up games, and do all of that. So I think that is the process that we have defined. That your role as a stakeholder is to appoint the 5-member committee. After that, you just manage your teams.
Right.
If there are any issues,
Ranjit, around that, since we had 3 key stakeholders last year who had competitive team or who had a team in 2023 hub tournament, being a current sitting committee, it would be fair for me to ask you this question, saying that we don't know the talent the other academies has, even though if they have a full team. Can I say that 3 committee members who were there as a voting member last year stays as the 2024 voting member, and allow the new academies who are putting a team in 2024 to play as a member but have voting right the following year, provided they have a team for that year as well, which will allow us to also gauge what talent level they have, whether they will stay today or month down the line, like what we had with IYCA last year. They dropped out after a month and they actually backed away from voting as well. So I'm trying to figure out what is the right mix to put this into perspective.
The voting is only to form the executive committee. So, and then the main thing is that the hub level is the first level in the structure that we have for the pathway. We don't judge the player. If he can hold a bat, he can play. Okay. I think the club who brings the team in, he will decide. I don't think as a hub lead you want to get involved to get this kid is good or not. At zonal level, you can, but at the hub level, the club brings the player. What level player they are, we unfortunately don't want to get into that. It'll just get more can of worms. Now, do we want to engage them into forming this committee? Is decision which I think is what we should make. To me, 3 is a very small number. My recommendation would be, if somebody is coming to you with a full team, they have demonstrated to you that they have a team of players, I would say engage them into appointing the committee, just so that they feel like they're a part of it. Anyway, once committee is formed, then they won't be involved.
So will those academy be part of the voting member or part of the
voting? So voting is only to form the executive committee.
Okay.
That's it. After executive committee is formed, everybody is done.
So whoever puts in a team gets a voting right for committee.
Correct.
Okay. That is very
right.
crystal clear. That's all I wanted to know.
Right.
So if an academy puts any age level, doesn't matter 1, 2 or 3 age level, as long as they have 12-member team, has a voting right for the committee for 2024.
I just want to clarify one thing. It's not just academy, even clubs. I think you keep forgetting clubs.
Yeah, it's a club. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, club, academy, organization is all same thing.
Yeah. Correct. Same thing. So even if a club has a U11, 12-member team, they have a voting right.
And And you can nominate somebody on the committee who is not part of the club either, because the committee is somebody who's going to run your hub. It doesn't have to be part of a club. You need to bring people on the committee who are neutral, who are who are going to work hard for the hub. So it's very important that you all work together to bring people on board as a committee whom you can trust.
Right. Actually, Ranjit bhai, you bring up a good point on that, and I think Nipun also raised a good question in terms of asking about the committee structure. And I would say, I think another one that should be strongly considered is, given how 2023 went, and we have all been hearing of all the challenges, and I think still stuff to be resolved. I think even for those pre-existing members, those 3 academies that were there, they should also nominate new faces to that executive committee. That way we can at least start afresh and try to engage in a different way. So clearly, there has been a lot of challenges with last year. So it will be a good time to sort of reset that as well.
They can if they want to. I mean, it's not something that we can enforce.
So Ranjit, how can we bring neutral members to the committee, like who are not?
You nominate, right? So the first step is to vote for the committee, right? You can put any name in the voting.
Looks like guys.
Right? Anybody whom you think. And then, they'll pick 5 from all the people that have listed there. So anybody who you think will do a good job, you can put like their name plus like why you think they'll do a good job, and then the committee can review the name. Yes, you think this person is right. Of course, I think the current executive committee which they still have right to review the names, and they could say no if they all 3 feel like this name should not be there. They can take it out. But put up all the names. Put up like let's say about 8-9 names. From 8-9 names they'll pick 5. So that's how this should work.
Yeah, again, I like the idea, and I think we should have somebody neutral or outside of the academies to derive some of the decisions. Right, that way we know that all the academies are not involved. We have independent parties who can make decisions as well.
Also bring sponsorship to the hubs too, right? I mean, that's the whole point. Have less money paid by the kids and the parents rather than going and fetching money from the parents and the kids. Bring more sponsorship dollars, bring more visibility. We all work together, right? Grow the hub, grow the grassroots over here. And the hub is the entry level, right? So even if you can catch a bat, even if you never hold a bat, you're in. You can play. That's the whole part of the hub process of players.
Right. So it's a larger vision perspective, Paresh. You are nailing on to something that I and Heyman and few other members. Nishant has been, I think, along with Nishant, there are many others like Arjun from BPL, and then there are a couple others who have been doing a lot of work. But Nishant, the reason I would like to call him out, he has been volunteering this without any expectation, a lot into this, right? So where am I getting into is the idea of the hub, independent to academy, is to go and start serving community, doing some clinics at certain places. Like as a president last year or chair last year, Vijay asked me, I said, yes, I'll come and help without no compensation. Promote cricket in school, right? We did it, I don't remember which school, Woodland, something in Gurney, we did it. I am involved in few other schools in Naperville, Aurora as well, right? That's the whole idea of putting a hub together, start promoting cricket, and make more players out of our community, which is also bringing in people who can bring some money into the hub rather than academy. Academy can do their own work, doesn't matter, it's independent to hub. But we obviously will need some sponsorship money, and that is where the idea was to collect 150. Next year down the line, we'll see what do we have and what can we do as part of community collectively together to go out and represent cricket as a sport. Right? So if we keep that minimum expense, right, just for the existence as a hub, we cannot largely go out and promote cricket as an organization, right? So there is a larger vision to this rather than a very small specific academy focused blinders around, right? So that's what I'm trying to convey here. But anyways, good discussion. We need this. Next step, 2020, I mean, we are already 10:34. 2024, the immediate next step is identify by Thursday which are going to be those member academies who will be part of voting the committee. So we can publish that out by end of this week, and keep Ranjit in loop as well. And I'm very thankful. If it was Jamie, would have not joined the call, but it's too sad that he has resigned, and he'll be still busy for next few weeks. I think it is a great time for us to get maximum information from Ranjit as well, Jamie, if he joins the call, and solidify and make some amendments into our bylaws and update that for our new committee to come in and align it with US cricket, if that's what we are looking at. Because overall, our entire goal is one single focus: youth, youth, and youth.
So just want to add quickly a couple more things. So the whole purpose of this hub is the hub committee has to create as many opportunities for these kids as they can in the hub and outside the hub, which means we are saying that at least 6 games per team. That's what we are saying minimum, which means you should strive to go beyond minimum, have 10, 12 matches per team. Second thing is that try to reach out to hub near your hub, see if you can have more games for your kids, host the hubs. So whatever you can do for development of your hub, that is what we are expecting this team to do. All the 5 members of the committee have to have a role. So before you pick the member in the committee, you first define what each person will do, and then you appoint a person to that task. So he knows that if I'm coming to the committee, I have to do this, I have to do web administration, I have to do the ground booking, I have to raise money, whatever it is. So I would say so for every role, explain what the person is going to do. Then you appoint the person. Then he knows that if I'm picked to be in the committee, this is what I have to do. So overall, it's your responsibility as a hub, how you can grow more number of kids in your region, how you can create more opportunities for them. And also when they go to the next level, make sure that if they deserve to be picked, they get picked. They're not getting picked, there are reasons, and reasons are basically, I don't want to discuss on this call because it's being recorded. But let's make sure that we send right people at zonal level, right people at the national level, because the committees are going to be formed. But we're going to come back to you again. Who should be the selector? Who should be the representing your hub? Those nominations are very important.
Right.
You send wrong people.
We followed the same norms and rules last year as well, but because it's a democratic world, we decided to have academy leads as the selector for hub, and then zonal also was decided in the vote. Some people won, some lost at different stages. But as per US cricket guideline, we should strictly tied and stay to that guideline and appoint independent selectors. Again, as you said, it's a different discussion, different identified role, but that is what we are trying to do for 2024 as well. Whoever the committee member will make sure that everybody is updated, informed, and we align to US cricket guidelines essentially.
Yeah.
And somebody who has knowledge of picking the right players, not somebody who does not know and is not able to come to the ground, watch the game. Anybody can look at the scorecard. We need somebody who will.
I think Jamie also mentioned there will be some level of training given to whoever the selectors are. So from USA Cricket. So I think we should be in a good shape if we have a neutral selector.
Yeah, so I think we are over time here. Can we reschedule this? I think we need more time for discussion.
So I think we should.
We are good now. I think we'll meet again next week if you're okay, Nipun. We should have the club list and all the things done by that time.
Correct.
Right? So let's have another call next week, and hopefully by that time we'll have enough information to.
Yeah. So Nipun, I know you set the deadline for club registration or academy registration for tomorrow noon. Can we extend for the just as a courtesy to the new joiners for the player registration to Sunday? I mean, I'm not sure what we will accomplish between Thursday and.
I should be able to extend that in the system, not a problem. And what I will also do is, I have list of BPL players in the system, and I can essentially take a jibe at that out of 188 players who we have in the system, 104 has already been updated, and then the rest of them are essentially 104 has already been identified for the age group. Rest of them are BPL. I can take a jab at that, and I can identify which age group they will be playing in and share it with BPL to see if that is aligning with their thoughts. Because those players are already in the system, right? We don't need. I don't want to wait for BPL to provide me because it's been pending for such a long time. So at least they have a list of players who are in the system. If they don't see a player in their system, and if they think that player is in a different academy still in the system, they can help us identify, and BPL can get those new players added into the system by Thursday as well or Sunday.
Yeah, Nipun, as I said, this is Lakhinder again from APCL. Our first training for the season is starting April 7th, so I won't have the full details until then, right? If you're setting up a date for Thursday, that would still not happen from our side, okay?
But at least, Lakhinder, you think you have 12 players, right? You can just say you will have U11 then. If you say U11, you have 12 players, or U13, U15, whichever that is.
Okay, that's fine. I can do that. But
yeah, just go ahead and do that because that will be easier. But prior to, at least we can get some. Again, I don't know. That may not align with Ranjit's idea because he needs the number. But we can work. Ranjit?
Yeah, and also, just to clarify, this year, a kid can only play in one age group.
Yes.
So make sure, there's no overlap, of any kid playing two different age groups. So when you're saying that I have a team, you have a team of unique players. If a kid is very good, he's U11, he can play U13, he can play U13, but then he can't play U11. He can only play at one age group. So, so I know that will change everybody's numbers because in past I've seen kids playing like multiple age groups.
Right. And again,
correct.
Thank you, everybody.
And Nipun, this is Arjun. Just I wanted to mention it earlier. Didn't get the opportunity. We'll get you the list on the BPL side. We have it.
Oh, the one that I had shared.
We have a finalized list on our side. We'll send it to you.
Can you use the one that I had shared?
Possibly. I know I'll have to circle back with Seshu, but yeah, I mean, if that makes sense, yes.
Because the reason I'm asking that, Arjun, it just takes me one click to import that into the system.
Sure, I understand. Okay, we'll look at that. If there is any concerns with using that, we'll let you know. But yeah,
because we have a system that is very, very nice that minimizes our work. So it long-term perspective idea.
Nipun, how can we a player or a parent make sure their child is in the system?
Yeah, so initial list was already shared with the academies. So anyone who played last year hub is in the system.
Yeah, that's we don't have to.
For example,
check,
like
right?
APCL is not in the system, right? So I just registered in the link. Will that add it to the system now?
Correct. It will add that into the system. Once you add it in, we will have to just review and add. We don't want junk data. So we have a process of approval and adding it into the system. Then it will show up into the pop-up for players to pick.
Can you also send me the players link, if you don't mind, in the chat, please?
Sorry?
Players registration link.
Yeah, so I can put that too. Yeah, let me do that.
Hey Nipun, is there a way you can send the racers players from the Casa Panthers? I don't know how many people have actually formally registered.
I don't think so. Anybody has registered yet, right?
Okay, then I have to push them to register by Thursday or whatever the deadline is, right?
Zero registration at the moment, right? There is zero registration at the moment, and there is a few academies that have registered from last year, right? And
yeah. So I don't see Casa Panthers there. So I think I send a request through that email for registration.
Online on this website on Ice Cricket.
Yeah, so that takes you to a email actually. So if I go to the ICE website,
So Ron, the one I shared was USA Cricket. This is ICE Cricket specific to
Oh,
ice.
this is a separate website?
Yeah,
Oh,
so Nipun just shared a link. You register Castle Panthers in that link.
Okay. This is a separate
Just
link.
check the link in the chat
I have
window.
mentioned both the links, registration for Academy and registration. If you go on icecricket.org, www.icecricket.org, and the second and third menu items are respectively Academy and Players Registration. Simple.
Okay, sounds good. I'll take a look.
So this will not register in the US cricket, right? This is only for ice cricket.
This is only for ice cricket, correct.
So Vijay, what is the process for registering? It's a separate process for that?
So player registration has a separate process. Vijay can also say, but we have also provided information on how to register player on USA Cricket along with player registration link.
So for example, here it says USA Cricket ID, Cricket Club ID. So all these are mandatory fields, or?
No, I mean you will be able to still register because we have had problems with USA Cricket registration portal. So we have made it non-mandatory, but it will be something, what I'm hearing, and Ranjit can concur to it, or if there is any leeway around that. What I heard earlier was USA Cricket is a mandatory field or mandatory for every player to be able to or to be eligible to play for hub cricket.
Yeah, it was required, but I think the portal is having some issues. They're building a new portal now. It should be up anytime, but I have not heard if it's up or not. With all things happening, it may take some time. So I don't want that to be like no showstopper. But at some point in next, let's say about 6 to 8 weeks, we'll ask that you ask all your players to sign up, and each club can just send you proof that everybody signed up some kind of way. So we're going to ask all the hubs to just validate. Yeah.
And there's no fees associated with this registration now, right?
No, this registration has no fee tied to it.
This is free, yeah. This is free, but when you join USA Cricket, there's $10 fee for every player.
Yeah. So when do the players pay that amount for the tournament? Is it?
So that will be shared once we form the committee and committee makes a decision that these are the list of players who will be participating in the tournament, and then everybody is going to help to generate invoices from the system.
And how we are protecting the data here, like because we
have only allowed Zelle payments through here.
No, this information about players, right? So this is going to
Sorry.
No. What I'm asking a data privacy question, right? So now I'm registering my students here, right? So how do I ensure that this data is not shared across anybody else?
So that very good question. Only certain people has access to this data, and nobody else has access to it. And certain people includes only me at the moment. Nobody else.
Yeah.
Right?
So I think a lot of PII information is going.
Wait a second. With that
exactly.
With that said, when I export the data to share with Academy, it is definitely shared with those academies as well. Now, when we look at data-wise, birth date is one, which is the critical part of an individual's identity.
So, what I would recommend, Nipun, is that birth date is the only thing I think which people are concerned about. So, you can set a column like, what is your age on 9/1/2024, like that. So they
correct. That is right.
Give the birth date. So it's a change in a way where people don't feel uncomfortable sharing information.
Yeah, that is one. The other one I want to say is I think it has to be very clear that players registering parents or folks here don't feel that they have to now potentially pay a fee. You talked about Zelle and all of that. I don't think any of those decisions have been made for 2024 that payments are going to be collected here. I think there has been conversation about keeping the amount of monies collected at ICE level very minimal, and those need to be discussed at a new executive committee level as well. So let's make sure we don't send out like an incorrect narrative. There was login information sent to a lot of parents. There was a bunch of confusion. Parents didn't understand what it was and all of that. So I think from whatever goes out from ICE needs to be a little bit more thoughtful and deliberate.
That's exactly what I said. The new committee will decide how the payment is going to be collected. And I think we should.
No, right. But does it have, like, my only question is there anything in this flow? I can't see the entire flow. Maybe It is not that, but does it make them feel that they have to pay?
No, this is it. Confirm, that's it. No payment for application. As I said, only academies will decide who are going to be part of the tournament, and then the committee who is sitting at that point will decide who to send the payment requests. Not to everybody. So this player registration is just a form to create a record in the system. So when a player is registered, essentially this is where it becomes available, and it also identifies which program they will be part of. Current age of the player, right? So even if you put it at USA Cricket, you can ask the same question: what is the data security at USA Cricket, right? Now these are all secure websites. So it's not something that, as an organization, we are the collective group of people making use of this data for our own perspective. It is not just my...
Yeah, but Nippon PII laws don't work that way, though. So I think Ranjit brings up a good point. I think we need to make sure date of birth is not like visible to everyone, including you. I think it's not something that needs to be shared. I think if someone's age needs to be verified separately, there can be a separate process possibly considered for that.
Do you think the same thing when you create a profile for a student in your academy? You have a visibility of date of birth. Why it can be different for cricket clubs, USA Cricket and Nice Cricket? I don't buy this statement from you.
Well, Nipun, there's a lot that you say that cannot be bought.
I agree with you on that. And we can make a collective decision on that, but it cannot be cricket clubs having the same problem. Cricket club has visibility.
We're not talking about cricket clubs here. We're talking about what you're showing.
Exactly. Cricket club is not part of your current setup. It is, right? That's what I'm trying to convey to you. But again, it's not my decision. It's not my decision.
The thing
collectively, the committee will decide, and we will identify how to address that, and we'll pay for the updates. Simple as that.
So, guys, I would like to add one point here. There are many hubs who are running the hubs very, very nicely and on the cricket-oriented base, right? And still they are not using all this website and all this registration process, and their data is not even, visible. So why do we need to use this kind of website, and why we need to do this kind of, all hi-fi stuff? Let's keep it simple. We just need to go with the simple and focus on the main thing.
Want to be better than somebody else.
Focus on developing the players, making the team stronger, developing the hub, developing the zone better. Not on all this. We are wasting this time for 2 hours, 1 hour in just non-cricketing stuff. We need to focus more on the making the player better, making the teams better, and not on all this discussion. We are just wasting the time here. Just keep it very simple. We are not running. We are not going to play like a T20 World Cup. Right?
If you think that we are wasting the time, I think people should have not joined the call. This is preparation for 2024. It's a very important call.
The preparation can be simple. Preparation can be simple. Like like other tournament organizers, they normally do that. That can be the very simple. Just a cricket club registration.
We tried the simple methods last year. It didn't work.
Exactly.
So
this year, USA Cricket is going to do that, right?
Last year we had the same Google worksheet form did not work. We are putting a process, we are putting a system nicely for everybody's use. This is not again, I am very upset on this call that somebody called out that this is my organization.
So why?
Because I don't like to volunteer for something that I'm not getting paid for. I'm a businessman.
Don't do that. You are doing by yourself, right? You're doing by your own decision. We are not asking you to do that.
It's not my own decision, guys. This is leadership decision. 2 people who voted for it decided. Current committee decided to do it the way it is. And if you want to utilize it, or else we scrap it.
That is why.
Hey guys, there's no point discussing this. Let's go through the agenda of this call, and then we can get somewhere. Right. This is leading us nowhere.
It's not going anywhere.
lastly, so how the other tournament being organized in
Hey,
SEM,
Neeraj, it
right?
doesn't
Just
matter how other tournaments are organized. Let's go through the agenda of this call, and then it's getting late. We have 7 minutes left. Let's go through what we need to do.
Let's wrap it up. I think we are done. I think we have discussed a lot. Let's agree on the next steps and next meeting, and we can connect again. Okay.
So should we call next Tuesday, good time, around this same 9 o'clock?
Let's fix a time. Let's do it on Tuesdays so everyone gets to know, and then we can join in on Tuesdays.
And also, Nipun, one suggestion, like come up with your recommendation, those points, and we can discuss here by sharing your screen, and then we can have like feedback from everybody so that we can make quick decisions. Okay. Because when we have open-ended questions, I think we never reach anywhere.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. So shared the bylaws and all that. I'm not aware of all that stuff, so I'll read it, and then if we have questions, we can discuss.
Sure. So my next takeaway is to share bylaws with everybody, which I'll do it right away. Same email chain. Two, we have our point of contact. So my question to Ranjit is, should the next point of contact be the only people on the call, or do you want to still have a larger audience on the call?
It can still be open because there's still being a discussion. But when it comes to appointing the committee, then basically, it'll be like one club, one vote kind of thing, But in the discussion, I think
so we'll
people
keep it
can
as
join if they want to.
Sounds good. Yeah. So we'll keep it as is, and I'll schedule another call next Monday. And prior to that, as Ranjit also mentioned, academies, and I'm not picking one, all three academies needs to figure out how to close in last year's financial data, because that is also a very critical part. And then also think about how are we going to manage down the line with the new committee together. But again, registration of academies, registration of players, extend that timeline. We said Sunday, right? And then Lakinder has one problem of program doesn't start till the 7th, but I'll work with him offline, and Paresh, you too. But I'll still keep that communication channel to everyone so that nothing is missed out. Everybody has common information.
And also send them a copy to link of 24 tools and guidelines which we have set forward.
The players and academy. Yeah.
No. The handbook.
Oh, the handbook. Yeah, they already have. Jamie actually emailed to everyone last call.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
So please go through the handbook as well. If you feel that there is something that you need to call out or need to address on the call, or need understanding or more information is required, more than happy to take that forward and add to this agenda item as well.
I think one suggestion, Nipun, and the group is, one suggestion to the group is, we know who's going to be putting in the team now. If by Monday or whenever the deadline is, if we know who else are joining, they are the voting members. They can each nominate their own committee members they want to represent. And then let's have a vote. Let's close this. Let's get this moving, right? Because we are getting late from the scheduling perspective and ground availability and all that, operational perspective. So let's wrap everything up in the last call. We don't want to continue this conversation over and over again. So let's close all the accounts that's pending. Let's nominate somebody for 2024, what we discussed, and let's move forward.
Yeah.
So I think that's the goal. Next week we should have an idea on who has a team, who does not have a team, and who will have voting rights, and based on that we can get the nomination going next call.
Yeah.
Everybody okay with that?
Good.
All right. Awesome, guys. Thank you very much for carving up your personal time. Let's connect again next week, Tuesday.
And thank you all for all the work you do. Thanks.
Good night, guys.
Hey.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone.